UFC Abu Dhabi, Whittaker versus the Reiner. As you can see on the screen, the Reiner gets it done. If you're wondering why it's looking like this, the UFC website's down. I don't care. I don't give a crap to ask about why, but we gotta talk about Reiner the Reiner. Guys, I'll be transparent with you guys, and like I gotta be honest, guys. He's a bully. I'm so, I'm gonna keep my composure, but I'm really mad, man. I did not see a world where the Radical went. Like, when I say I don't see a world, in my head going into this fight, I was like, Whittaker, he has a takedown defense. RDR's takedowns are too slow, like in the open. I knew this, so I was like, I can see Whittaker stuffing him and having and landing some meaningful shots on the feet. Mixing up that 1-2 head kick. He didn't throw that at all, but he ends up catching him a good straight punches, jabbing his head off, and he rocked him in the third round and almost put him out. I still don't know why Mark Goddard didn't stop that, but he also stopped Aljo Sugar when Aljo was continuing to move. He stopped Pereira Izzy for whatever reason. The first fight, which I'm not saying these are bad stoppages, but I'm just saying if you're going to stop those fights, you have to stop this fight. He didn't stop Gaslam Izzy when Izzy was putting on Gaslam. Gaslam was falling over the place like 7 times. Given his track record, I would expect that fight to be stopped, but he didn't stop it, which shows he's improving, I guess, as a ref. But that fight could have been stopped and wouldn't have been a bad stoppage. But ultimately, guys, I want to let you guys know why the Reiner's kind of a cheat code. He's so unskilled on the feet, and I don't like the phrase DDP 2.0. Him and DDP are nothing alike. DDP is actually a very talented kickboxer. You can see the way he throws his low kicks into his question mark kicks, into his spinning heel kicks. DDP has really good kickboxing. They're similar in their sense of pressure and unrelenting attitude and like fierce competitive spirit. Yeah, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna put it on them. They have that, and I'll give them that. That's similar. Outside of that, don't call this guy DDP 2.0. He's a guy who has really good grappling, and he uses his size effectively. Guys, he's 215, 217-ish pounds. He cuts down to 185. The only guy we ever seen like this is Alex Pereira, who's 220, cutting down to 185. The difference between him and Pereira, yes, they both use their size, but the Reiner being a grappler makes that size so much more concerning, because when he does get you on the ground, he will control you. I've noticed this. Whittaker's hard to hold down. Only 2 people in Whittaker's life ever took him down multiple times. Hamza, one of them. I forgot who the second guy is. I don't even think it's Yo Romero took him down 2 times. But it was someone else. But point being said, holding down Whittaker is like a whole problem of his own. Holding down Whittaker in the clinch is a problem of his own. But the Reiner's so heavy, once he gets you on top, you can really feel that 6'4", 220 frame on fight night when he's actually on top of you. This guy's a problem there. And not only is he a problem in that aspect, his gas tank is not necessarily the best. And people are like, why does Whittaker suddenly look tired? People are like saying Whittaker has no gas tank. Whittaker has amazing gas tank. We've seen him go 5 rounds with Romero a lot of times. We've seen him against other people. The longer the fight goes, he lasts with them. What the Reiner's best weapon is, and what makes him so special, is those knees to the body. And we already knew this, but I want you guys to know, you don't necessarily have to have bad endurance to lose to the Reiner. I can see the Reiner being a Mavov and these Brahalos and all these other guys. From just the knees, even like DDP. I think DDP beats him because he's a little bit better of a striker, and he's also physically big and strong. But his frame being that big and strong, him already having the physical attribute advantage over you, and using his attributes to kind of bully you around the ring, in addition to the fact that he's always throwing knees, he fights to drain you. Pause. His fight is, he has a draining fight style, and that's what makes him a cheat code against these smaller guys at 185. Because if you're 6'4" at 185, you're probably built like Izzy, or people would think you're built like Izzy. Because if you're 6'4" at 185, you're probably not the most bulky, crazy built guy. You probably have like a little bit leanness to your frame. The Reiner's body type is very unique because he's not supposed to be actually fighting at 185. He's sacrificing his body to fight at 185, but he's able to rehydrate very well. I don't know what the science is behind some of these huge guys who are supposed to be fighting at light heavyweight, cutting down to 185 to bully these smaller guys, and someone like RDR is making it work. The Reiner's making it work because it's working very well against someone like Robert Whittaker, who's a very game fighter, very talented fighter, very impressive. But he goes in against the Reiner. It's not that Whittaker has bad gas tank, but he's getting his gas tank destroyed and just is draining. Those knees when they land is draining. And then he makes you carry his weight in the clinch. And round 5, I want to talk about that because it could have went either way. I thought Whittaker won at first because in my head I was like, it's going to come down to clinch strikes or like who landed the more meaningful shots. Of course, Whittaker will separate and land some more meaningful shots, and like the Reiner will react badly to it, like the body language, you just eat it and like kind of tip back in the cage and all that. But ultimately, the referees gave it to Control Time. And Control Time is starting to run the UFC a little bit. You start to see a lot of people kind of go for Control Time. There was a certain referee in this card who was like, you have to advance the position. He was kind of like urging people on to like switch positions. Thank God he didn't get this for this fight, because the rider would have got lost every round. You know, because the rider's whole purpose in this fight was like, let me just hug you against the fence. And it works. It's not like he's hugging him. He's doing like little shoveling uppercuts to his belly. It's not actually doing anything, but it's keeping Robert Whittaker there. Whittaker in the 5th round was using it, and he was taking a rest when he was getting controlled on the fence. And his game plan was to separate, then blitz into 1-2s. But what Whittaker didn't account for, the second he would separate, he'd push him off. And then like the effort it takes to push that guy that heavy off, it was draining. So by the time he finally got to the distance, he would kind of like not really have the power to explode into it, because Whittaker's a very explosive fighter. The rider had the perfect game plan. I'm salty because I got the pick wrong and I lost some cash, bro. 400 down the drain. Like, I'm tight. I lost some cash, bro, but he fought that well. If I'm the rider, I'm going to do that to everyone. I'm going to just use my size. I'm going to use my strength. I'm going to just hold you against the fence. I don't need to look great at striking. I don't need to strike with you. I'm going to just be a bully. I'm going to use my weight bullying tendencies, and I'm going to hold you against the fence. And that's it. I don't got to do anything else. I'm going to throw knees to the body, and I'm going to hold you to the fence. What he does well is that when he throws his knees, like the knees to your body, he automatically goes into like a clinch session. So he'll like throw a knee, then like hug you so tight in the clinch. Like he'll hug you. And the knees aren't always to like land. Like, yes, they're going to drain your energy, but he drains your energy and then immediately goes into the clinch. So you're going to be a little bit more complacent of just getting control in the clinch, which will open up some slips or takedowns for him. He's almost like a cheat code. Like, that's what I'm starting to notice. Like, his fight style is almost like a cheat code, given his physical attribute advantage he has over a lot of these guys. It's very concerning. And then if he actually gets you on the ground, Whittaker has great takedown defense, but not a lot of people have Whittaker takedown defense. When he gets you on the ground, he's so heavy on the top because he's just not supposed to be fighting you. He's in the wrong weight class, so he's able to bully you on top. So he's very overwhelming, tricky to deal with. Of course, you have moments where like he's going for that knee and his guard's so down, which is why Whittaker landed that flush overhand on his chin. He has defensive striking, like negative defensive striking, but that doesn't really matter if you're able to just use your striking to come forward and just hug him against the fence. It works. Even his takedown entries, they're so slow and telegraphed, but what he wants to do, he wants to back you up and then shoot a takedown when you're against the fence, but not to actually score, but to fail the takedown, then get back up and climb and just hug you against the fence. His hugging method is very effective, especially in a 5-round fight, because he doesn't have the best endurance. But by the time you're going 25 minutes with him, those knee strikes are going to zap your energy, and you're going to look like Robert Whittaker. He's a good fighter. Poor Whittaker getting fed these fucking marauders. I think Whittaker's still good, but the size and the physical attribute advantage that Dorado has over Whittaker and a lot of these other 185ers, it will be problematic, and he could beat a lot of guys at 185. Only people I see beating him right now confidently are DDP and Hamzat. That's it. Everyone else, good luck trying to deal with him, because you're not going to have the physical attributes over him. People are saying Imavov could catch him with a 1-2, but I've seen Imavov get controlled by Jared Cannonier against the fence, and I'm sure that Dorado could do the same thing, especially with those taxing knees, and Imavov has fatigued. RDR is a problem. He's someone I respect now. At first, I was kind of doubting him. I really thought Whittaker was going to get it done. I was one of my most confident picks, too. So it really, like, you can't look at picks logically, if that makes sense. When you're predicting fights, guys, 'cause I got this whole main card right except for this one. You can't pick fights logically all the time. You kind of have to constitute for attribute variables, which is something I don't really consider, which I feel like is what leads me to getting picks wrong sometimes. I don't consider attributes. Physical attributes take you a long way. Derider's not talented. He just has attribute advantage over a lot of people. He's talented in the grappling overall. He's not an absurd skilled grappler, but his size against these smaller guys is going to pay dividends. He can't go to 180. He can't go to 205 and do this to an Ankalaev, because he knows damn well the 1-2 of Ankalaev is going to put you to sleep. Ankalaev's also 6'3", like around your height, and he's big too. It won't work against these 205ers, so that's why he's sacrificing his body, cutting weight to go against smaller guys, because he knows it's going to work against these guys. Smart guy, smart game plan, and smart weight cut decision by Reiner Dorado, who gets it done against Whittaker. I don't think it's a robbery. I thought Whittaker did win 3-2 because of 5th round, but like I said, it was on Whittaker to get out of that clinch. He seemed a little bit too complacent, didn't want to move. He lost to Reiner Dorado because of that, and I hope he learns from it. He could definitely beat Dorado and definitely knock him out and definitely do all this stuff, but their first meeting, Dorado gets it done, and Dorado's a problem. They're both 34. I don't know if they're going to see each other again. Whittaker has a lot more mileage under him in the UFC ring as least, and maybe the one championship they could hang with these top guys. I did not think these one guys could hang with these UFC guys, the top guys at least. So Dorado, his physical attribute advantage is through the roof. Moving on from that fight. Co-main event, Brittany Yarn versus McGhee. kind of went how I said it was going to go. Jan starts off a little bit slow, but he ends up getting to McGhee. That's kind of what happened in this fight. The output difference was crazy. I did not even know it was that significant for total strikes. But McGhee had moments. He would land on Jan. I used to say Jan was the best boxer. He's not the best boxer. Ilya is definitely a better boxer. Jan's really sharp. He takes some times, but this little high guard thing of like kind of covering your face, it's like not very effective defensively in my opinion. Where like people like Ilya shoulder roll and do stuff a little bit better. Jan has a little like a face high guard that he covers with his hand, and he jumps into 1-2s. They land flush. He has that clean Jan sweep that he does every fight, where he just like grabs them, pushes them while sweeping their leg. I love that shit. It's so beautiful. But yeah, masterclass from Jan. A masterclass in round 2 and 3. He loses the first round, kind of like what Jan always does. McGhee was game. McGhee seemed like he was just happy to be there. But overall, I don't know. Jan kind of just schooled him. I kind of saw this coming. It wasn't really surprising about me. Easy pick. But, I guess I was surprised about, like, how much moments Jan had McGhee to have. But I guess that high guard style. Jan's still good. He would never beat Merab. There's a lot of people he still can't beat. Just that high guard style is not effective, like, for defending takedowns. Umar schools him. Merab schools him. A lot of people school him. But he's still a talented fighter. So, Jan, it is what it is. Pretty good overall. All right. Shara Bullet and Marc-Andre. I didn't put this on any parlay because I was a little bit worried about Marc-Andre in the clinch. I was telling you guys that in my prediction video. But I did go for Shara Bullet, and I was obviously right because you saw the beating Shara Bullet put on him. Shara Bullet got rocked. He showed durability. Got his nose broken with that punch by Marc-Andre. Andre did everything right. Pressured him, clinched him. But Shara Bullet hit a flow state towards the end of the second round and even into the third round. When Shara gets going, he's actually really fun to watch. I've never seen him in a boring fight. Definitely a good prospect. Middleweight, But middleweight has a lot of interesting characters, especially after watching the main event. But Shara is still a talented first fighter overall. Marc-Andre showed you his game. He didn't get finished, luckily, but he did get masterclassed over the majority of the fight. I thought it was 3-0 Shara. I didn't give Marc-Andre a single round. Shara is just a very effective striker, unique. He's starting to open up his hands a little bit more. His low kick's so heavy. He's just very good at mixing the target. He doesn't point fight as much as far as like. He's not like throwing low kicks just to tap you. He's actually kind of twerking into those low kicks and spinning his hips and landing more meaningful shots. Shara Bullet, very good performance against Marc-Andre, and I'm not really surprised by it. I am surprised about like how well he did defending takedowns. He showed good defensive wrestling, so he actually might be pretty good. He just got to like get his defensive boxing a little bit better because his arms are so low, so he gets tagged up a lot. He's a good prospect, but I wouldn't say championship caliber yet, but great fighter, Shara Bullet so far. Next up, Almabayev and Jose Ochoa. I told you guys I'm going to go Azu Almabayev because I believed in his wrestling. His wrestling did shine through. He goes in there against Jose and kind of just shows levels in the wrestling. I thought this was kind of a masterclass. Jose Ochoa did have some moments on the feet, but overall, Azu Almabayev showed that his fight against Manil Cap was short notice, and if he can take someone down, he can control them. Even looked good in the striking. He would fake takedowns, go overhand. Very complete performance. Went 7 for 16 on takedowns, so he was shooting a lot of those takedowns, guys. But he was actually effective. He was effective with them. Jose Ochoa was definitely effective on his back. I actually enjoyed this fight. People said it was boring. I like the grappling exchanges. Good fight from both guys, but Azu Almabayev, clear win. Guskov, I told you guys I'd go for the underdog for this one. Guskov does get it done against Krylov. I feel bad for Krylov. He gets KO'd in the first round, I feel like with Krylov, it's a thing like he had crazy momentum, took a long time off, comes back against Dominic Reyes, rushes. Then this fight comes a little bit more tentative than usual. Then that still doesn't work for him. In a very weird spot. Kind of feel bad for him. Whereas Guskov just looks like he continues to develop, looks continuing like he's going to get better. He's finished everybody, bro. He's fight submission, knockout, doesn't matter. So, yeah, I'm proud of that Guskov pick because people were kind of sleeping on that guy. So, Guskov gets it done. Great win in that part. As far as the prelims are concerned, Bryce Mitchell, I did end up going Bryce Mitchell. I said it was going to be close, and it wasn't it was pretty close because Shara was having moments on the feet. Not Shara, Saeed. I don't know why I compared him to Shara. Kind of similar, and they move a lot, but Saeed doesn't have the endurance. Bryce Mitchell looks strong at 135, which is good. It's good when people go down in weight and their strength transfers over because sometimes it can be dangerous, but physically he looked a lot stronger than Saeed. He gets it done using his wrestling, and kind of like a masterclass, but he was going through adversity. Saeed had a round early. He knocked him down, almost finished him. But Bryce Mitchell showed that he has good durability, a decent chin at 135, and Saeed is just like a talented fighter with no heart, like no endurance. I'm not even going to say no heart. I just don't think he has endurance. Great performance by Bryce Mitchell. Looks like vintage Mitchell. 135 might be his weight class because that strength, it did carry over. Next up, holy shit, this fight shocked a lot of people, guys, including myself. Muslim Salikov and Carlos Leo. I think the narrative was if someone gets knocked out, it's definitely Carlos Leo. Salikov slept him, and not like with his kung fu karate kicking style. He slept him with a hook. Carlos Leo came out and didn't respect him. He was almost coming out with like ruthless aggression. And then, like, bro, when Salikov slept him, I went crazy. I was not expecting that. Carlos Lil was coming off a little bit too aggressive, and I think he didn't respect the 40-year-old man. So the 42-year-old made him respect him, slept him with the hook, I believe it was, and he put him out. Very surprising win the way he won, but Carlos Lil, man, I wonder what, like, he was so hyped, man. But that kind of derailed his hype train. I'm not saying Muslim Salikov is bad. I think a lot of people just expected Lil to continue running through people with his steroided ass up, but the steroid guy got steroid checked and fraud checked. Muslim Salikov got it done and great knockout. Probably knockout of the night. Davey Gray, Damon Blackshear. I was very back and forth with the guy. I was very back and forth, and I told you guys that Davey Grant just thrives when he starts getting momentum rolling. That's what happened against Blackshear. I think Blackshear had a good first round, but I think Davey Grant just stole the second and third and just put it on him. He was backing up Blackshear. Blackshear is a little bit too complacent when he's getting backed up sometimes. Davey Grant just has a good volume on head of him. And he uses volume, uses striking, uses presence and pressure to overwhelm Blackshear, who just looked like he wanted to go in there and, like, maybe, I don't know what his overall game plan, man. Like, he tried to take him down, but Davey Grant was good defensively. Wasn't enough to get it done. So Davey Grant kind of beats on him. Dr. Dre, hands on him, lots of base. Easy fight for Davey Grant. Gets it done. Amanda Ribas, top of the Richie. I told you guys the underdog Richie's going to get it done. She gets it done. I did not see a knockout coming. I was looking more sub points, but Ribas was just getting controlled against the clinch. Elbowed in the eye. The elbow landed right in her eyeball. That looked very painful, but yeah. Amanda Ribas does not get it done against Richie. Underdog pick does thrive with Richie, and yes, women's fight, who gives a shit? Ibo Island, Billy Elkanah. That's embarrassing for Ibo Island. He looks shit, and he was mad that he didn't win the fight, but he did nothing. Cut this guy and keep Billy, I guess, but cut him soon after. Ibo Island, one of the worst falls from grace I've ever seen in my life. I'll be real. He just gets worse as I see him. Embarrassing performance. Muhammad Yahya and the Vietnamese gets it done. I'll be real. I've never seen so much knockdowns. I think they actually broke a UFC record for the most knockdowns. This guy just so durable and just kept getting dropped. It says 6 knockdowns, but I swear it was like 8. Or 7, but maybe they only officially count 6, but he just put it on him. Yaya was tough and durable, showing out for his crowd, but ultimately he gets stopped because his eyes fucking imploded. That was disgusting looking at that. I was half-assed watching this fight, but I did see that he was just getting his ass whooped multiple times. And Martin Boudet gets it done against Buchecha, who just couldn't find any grappling. I half-assed watched this fight, was barely watching, but he gets it done overall, and Boudet gets it done, the fat, chubby boy. He can still fight, who knows, but I don't know, guys. Overall, crazy card. The biggest takeaway from this card is weight bullying is very appropriate when done right. And RDR is doing it right. And those physical attribute guys, dial it. Keep your eye on this guy because he's actually a good prospect. I used to brush him off, but after this performance, he's going to be a problem. But let me know what you guys think about this fight. I'm sorry for the people I let down in the main event. I really thought the main event was going to be Whittaker. He should have got that third round finish. They robbed him from that. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.